They said love conquers all, but no one warned them about the cost. It began with stolen glances and secret smiles, two hearts daring to defy the world. But as their love bloomed, so did the storm that threatened to tear them apart. This isn't just a love story, it's a haunting reminder that some hearts are destined to get hurt. The city of Lagos paused around them, a vibrant, chaotic symphony. For Ayo and Simi, their love story began amidst its rhythm, a melody both sweet and undeniably complicated. They met at a university debate club, Ayo, sharp-witted and fiercely opinionated, Simi, with a quiet strength that belied her gentle demeanor. Their connection was immediate, the kind that felt like coming home. They shared dreams of building lives in this very city, dreams of family, success, and a quiet happiness together. Their first hurdle, typical for many young Nigerian couples, was family approval. It was late 2010. Ayo's parents, established professionals, eyed Simi's humble background with polite but discernible caution. Simi's aunties, fiercely protective, worried about Ayo's quick temper, despite his obvious devotion. It took months of consistent visits, polite conversations, and unwavering respect from both Ayo and Simi to bridge the unspoken class divide. By the harmattan winds of December, they had slowly won over skeptical hearts with their genuine affection for each other. They thought this was the biggest mountain they'd ever climb. They were wrong. The real storm hit in early 2012. A year into their courtship, with their bond deepened, Simi, pragmatic and responsible, insisted they both get genotype tests. It was a standard, sensible step, but one they'd have to approach with casual confidence. They were young, healthy, and deeply in love. What could go wrong? The results came back on a Tuesday, a day that forever changed their trajectory. Ayo was AS, Simi was AS. Sickle cell trait. The words on the page felt like a death sentence to their dreams. If they had children, there was a 25% chance each child could have sickle cell anemia, LSS, a lifelong, debilitating illness. No, Ayo whispered, staring at the paper as if it held a foreign language. This can't be right. We'll get retested. They did, twice. At different labs. The results remained the same. The disappointment was a physical ache. Their families, once cautiously approving, became vehemently opposed. You cannot marry. Simi's mother wailed, tears streaming down her face, the sound echoing through their small living room. You want to bring suffering into this family? God forbid. Ayo's father, usually composed, declared it an unacceptable risk, his voice firm and final. This firm stance from Ayo's parents stemmed from a deep, personal pain. They had lost two beloved cousins in their childhood to complications from sickle cell anemia. The memory of those prolonged illnesses, the constant hospital visits, and the eventual heart-wrenching funerals had etched a permanent scar on their family. They saw the AS's compatibility not just as a risk, but as a direct path to repeating that generational heartbreak. Friends offered well-meaning but crushing advice: it's not worth it, I beg. There are plenty of other people. The pressure was immense. Arguments erupted, not just with their families, but between themselves. Despair crept in, a cold, persistent current. Maybe they're right, Simi confessed one sweltering July night, her voice raw with tears as she lay beside Ayo, unable to sleep. Maybe we're being selfish. I can't bear the thought of having a child, and then watching them suffer. Ayo, usually so decisive, felt the ground crumble beneath him. He loved Simi with every fiber of his being, but the weight of potential future pain, of the medical struggles and heartbreaks, was suffocating. There were days in late 2012 when he felt the urge to simply walk away, to surrender to the logic that screamed at them from every direction. He even packed a small bag once, in early 2013, ready to go to a friend's place and just disappear for a while. The thought of giving up on Simi was a physical pain, but the thought of a sick child was a terror. He stood by the door, the cool evening air on his face, but he couldn't leave. He saw a framed photo of them, laughing, from happier times. Their love was too strong. Despite the genotype revelation, their love only deepened. In late 2013, with their family still worried but unable to deny their profound connection, Ayo and Simi decided to marry. It was a quieter affair than they'd once dreamed, a simple church ceremony followed by a small reception, but it was filled with fierce commitment. They moved into a modest apartment in the heart of the city, their shared space becoming a sanctuary against the world's doubts. It was during their premarital counseling, even after knowing their genotypes, that they first heard about IVF with preimplantation genetic diagnosis, PGD. A compassionate doctor explained that it was a procedure that could screen embryos for the SS gene before implantation, offering them a chance at having children free from sickle cell disease. It was expensive, complex, and came with no guarantees, but it offered a scientific pathway to bypass the hereditary odds. This advice became their new beacon of hope. Their immediate focus shifted to starting a family, but with caution and immense hope. Throughout 2014, they embarked on their first IVF with PGD cycle. It was a grueling process, emotionally taxing, and financially draining, swallowing the entirety of their modest savings. The hope was immense, a fragile blossom. The news of its failure in late 2014 was a crushing blow, leaving them emotionally and financially exhausted. They mourned, but held on to each other. Undeterred, they scraped together funds and, in early 2015, they tried a second IVF PGD cycle. Again, the grueling process, the anxious wait. And again, the heartbreaking news of failure by mid-2015. The repeated disappointments chipped away at their resolve. The dream of biological children, once so vivid, began to fade under the weight of medical science and financial strain. They thought love was enough to carry them through the storms, enough to light the darkest nights. Together, they dreamed of a future filled with laughter, children, and growing old side by side. But life isn't a straight path, it twists, it turns, and sometimes it breaks you in places you never thought possible. What happens when the road ahead grows foggy? When hope is the only thing keeping you from falling apart? This is the story of two hearts clinging to each other, fully aware of the danger that lies ahead. A journey of love, faith, and the price of holding on when the world says let go. They know where they've been, but the path ahead. That's a story waiting to unfold. Subscribe to Stories Platter, and get the absolute details to what's next.
If this story really thrilled you and you want to dive deeper into true stories, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next episode. We'll see you right here on Stories Platter.